Apologize that I got cut off with storage. But no, that's a fire thing. When you look at somebody that's like just got that glow to them, it's because they give a fuck about themselves. Air is being logical and thinking practically, or thinking logically, communication, blah, 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 blah. Point is, you can learn something from all of them, but you live in an earth realm, so it's very important to get that down. In an earth realm, to know not to do is not to know. When you do things, they become automatic. I'll give you an example of what I'm trying to talk about. There was a time I had these two books. I was living in Warrenton, and I was walking towards the library. Now, one book I read, the other book I was still reading, but it was late. So I wanted to be responsible. And this also goes back to a job situation, like about how things are supposed to be done. Fuck everything. Who do you listen to, right? You live in you have to put your 2 weeks in. If you were as trained as I am, you realize who do you listen to applies here. The company, the point is, the right thing to do would be to go back and return these books. So I start walking to the library, and I get to the spot where the library is on my right, and there's a road that goes to the park on my left. And my waterway, the path of least resistance, water always finds its way home. That's the point in the physical world, and it's a dense thing, but it always finds its way home. It even goes into the sky and falls from the fucking sky. Like, it's so magical. That's your intuition, that's your gut, that's your emotions. And it's telling me to go left, not right. And I'm happy I went right. Because this is a great, because no matter what decision you make, it's never a wrong decision. But the path of least resistance was go left. Today's not the day to go to the library. That's literally how I felt. But I said, well, I want to go. I don't want to care. I already finished this one book. Why can't I return? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, I can make my own decision. I want to walk in here and see why it's not a good decision to walk into this library. I don't know what that beeping is. Anyway, or humming. But anyway, so I go to the library and I walk in, and there's this old lady behind the counter. And I walk in and I put the two books on the counter. And I tell her that I finished one book and I have this other book I'm trying to read, and I would just like to recheck it out. And she scans it and does her thing, and she's an old lady. And she says, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to take these books, both of them. One book I don't care about, but the point is, she said, I'm going to have to take this book that you're reading and enjoying because of blah, blah, blah. Some the way it works, the system. It needs to be rechecked out, or it's past its due date, or there's just some excuse reason of that fact that she's going to take my book. And that's the proper path that is how it works. AKA, I hate when people say that's how it is. That's the system. That's what we're talking about here. Because a lot of times the system goes against morals, and it goes against what actually makes real sense. Like the fact that I walked in and you're going to take my book even though I don't want you to. Well, it's like, why did I walk in here though? You know what I mean? Like, I walked in to be out of good reasons. I'm being nice, and you're going to take my book. Now, none of that shit was hitting her. None of that mattered to her at that moment. Understand that the moral reasons, the loving reasons, the fact that I want to read the book, that would make me happy to read the book, but you're taking it away from me and I can't have it. And I don't remember the bullshit reason, but basically I can't have it now. And I'm going to have to go get another book. There's no option for me. You're just going to take it from me. And I walked in here and you're basically robbing me when I was being a nice person. So my next thought, because I know how this works, to know not to do is not to know. It isn't the fact that I'm content with it. It's the fact that I thought about it. A lot of you guys would just go, oh, okay, I guess I don't have a book. And then you go on through your day and you got robbed. I'm a Taurus. We feel like we get robbed. That's the feeling. When we lose a relationship, we feel like if somebody takes our girl, we feel like we got robbed. That is the feeling. That's the feeling. Ask a Taurus. Like, they might not want to admit it because it's so materialistic, but that's the true fucking feeling. I feel like you're robbing me of my book. I borrowed the book from the library. Like, how am I getting robbed? It's free. You know, if you really think about it logically, yeah, I'm not getting robbed. But no, I sat there and I thought a thought. This was actually a big moment in my life. This sounds so stupid, but it was a very powerful moment. And my thought was, I'm going to take this book. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you're going to take this book from me? I'm going to just walk around. I'm going to lean over the counter. I'm going to hop the counter. You're an old fucking lady. If I want to just push you back, pry the book out of your fucking hand, and walk out the door, no one's going to stop me. The cops are going to take a minute. I'm going to get that far. I'm going to get far enough to where at least the book's in my hand. Get there, you see further, right? Somebody else will think about all the fucking... You're manifesting all that bullshit. The cops come in. That's ain't that interesting? Because you're thinking, you believe that'll all happen, and it will. I believe you get there, you see further, and I'm not worried about all that. I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm going to get that fucking book. And, even if I have to physically force myself in the situation to give me that fucking book, old lady. Like, I don't care. Because, at this point, it was, oh, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, that's great. Okay, scan. Oh, no. What's wrong? Well, it looks like we're going to take your book. And I'm all like, oh, well, I guess the happy communication air sign, how you doing, Libra and me, would puss out right here. Or it would try to use communication to blackmail or whatever. I didn't use any of that. I used my earth powers, which is in a second, I'm about to fucking do this. And when you think a thought, it is picked up by other human minds and affects physical matter. And it was really interesting because the bitch wasn't looking at me. She was looking down, looking at the books, completely content with taking it. And then I think a thought for about 3 seconds. So my next thought is, I'm taking that fucking book. And within 3 seconds or less, this bitch goes, you know what? On second thought, you could just have it. And the reason why is in her reality, she's manifesting her reality too. But my reality is that I'm going to get that book back and there's nothing you can do about it. In her reality, she probably doesn't deserve to go through a traumatic experience. Isn't that beautiful? So she don't have to. She just gives me the book back and we all win. It really was a big moment. You guys don't understand. Like, I fucking thought. Let me get this shit off me. I had in my mind, I'm getting that book. I don't give a fuck. It's such a small example. But it's something you guys can understand. A lot of you guys might not believe in walking 3-hour drive to go to trucking school while homeless and I'm going to get the job anyway and I make it. Or go to California on $10 in gas and I make it there in 26 hours or less anyway. This small story I'm giving you is a beautiful example of the power of the mind. I do it with cops. I've done it 100 stories you couldn't fucking believe. But this small one is a big one. I love it. I walked out of that library very proud. I walked to the park and I felt better about it.